All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Vault. It's so wonderful to have you all here with us this morning. My name is Tracy Wilson, and I will be your host for the next 60 minutes. So we'll go right through till about 12:30 this afternoon with our fabulous guest, Lynn Stockdale from Stylish You. I'll tell you a little bit about Lynn. I met Lynn a few weeks ago and, or probably, gosh, it might even be a couple of months ago now. Gosh, time flies. Yeah. But what I've got to say about Lynn is that anybody who knows about style, she is the woman to ask.
Thank you.
And look, this is one of the things or topics that I find really fascinating because I know, and I'm going to speak from personal experience here. Most of you who've been following me for a while know that I've come out of a corporate background or a corporate world, and taking a leap out of that corporate world into, entrepreneurial space and into a business of your own, there often is this almost like a bit of an identity crisis. You know, you've gone through that because you're so used to wearing a corporate uniform or a corporate badge each and every day. And when you step outside of that, you then go, oh my God, I don't have a uniform to wear, and I certainly don't want to wear the polo shirt. How do I find a style that's best suited to me, that is going to be impactful, that is authentic to who I am, but is also going to help me. And this is something that probably most don't think about, but how is it going to help me drive revenue and sales through to my business? Because it's a very important piece of the puzzle. So with that being said, Lynn is the expert on this topic, and here she is. So welcome to Inside the Vault, Lynn.
Thank you so much. It's fantastic to be here. And I just want to say, Tracy, I just love your professionalism. This is amazing. Obviously, when we met, just instantly got along and instantly loved everything about what you do and your message. It's fantastic. So I'm really honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. So I've sort of given everybody a little bit of an overview of who you are and what you do. But would you like to tell everybody sort of a bit of your backstory and how you've come to be as stylish as you are?
Where do I start? Look, I think I'll tell you what I do now. So I basically work with entrepreneurs on creating a high impact signature style. So it's about helping you to be more visible. If that's something you want, which nowadays is so important. Like, look at us on Blab. You might be running workshops, going to networking events, recording your own videos, that kind of thing. Like, being visible is so important nowadays, particularly for consultants and entrepreneurs and that kind of thing. And it's about up-leveling your life as well. So, you come out of the corporate world and you used to have a uniform. Suddenly you're able to express yourself, your identity and all that kind of thing. And you just don't know how to do it, or you feel a little bit lost. So I help you to create a signature style and a bit of a formula that helps you to just not worry too much about how to put outfits together, but you know what your formula is, and you just go out there and do the things that you're really good at. So forget about, trying to create outfits. We create the formula, and then you go out there and do your area of genius. So yeah, that's what it's about. And like, I've always loved clothing and fashion, all the kind of stuff. I used to be in buying years ago and lived in London and all that kind of thing. And it was actually just really interestingly, I always took friends shopping, which was always interesting. People always asked me to go shopping with them. And I was shopping with a friend in Sydney who knew me from London, and she said, why don't you just do this? And I thought, no, who can do this full time? But of course, I finally took the leap exactly 12 months ago as well. I've been doing it full time. So actually did it for probably a year before that, part time and worked at the same time, but 1 year full time this month. So very proud to still be going,
Fantastic. Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
And let's talk about, understanding how to dress for success to really attract the right sort of audience to you, because that's quite a interesting topic in itself. Attracting the people to you. So how does one do that, or actually, where should they start?
Yeah, so one of the phrases that I really love is this: your vibe attracts your tribe. So if you're out there and you're feeling good in what you're wearing and you're really like representing your business and all that kind of stuff, you look like the leader that you are, you're going to naturally attract people. And you've got to really think about who are the clients that you want to attract, what type of people do you want to be working with, and you need to be on that level, if not higher. So you need to be really embodying that. You almost need to be an inspiration for people. Some of the things that I work with my clients on is creating a look, first of all. So I always send everybody to Pinterest because, you know, when you're creating a goal, you need to have a vision for it. So I think, Tracy, you posted your vision board up in your group, which I love. And, you know, you've got a vision for where you're going. You need to do the same thing with your style. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Just keep it really simple. And you actually create a formula from there. And why I love Pinterest is because you can find so many photos of people who are just, you know, they might be famous, but they might be fashion bloggers or people like that, people who do this for a living. So you may as well learn from them and just get ideas from them. So that's the starting point, is always the Pinterest board. Yeah.
Now, what I'm also going to say is this important for both male and female?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do a lot of work actually with The Entourage. I don't know if any of you know The Entourage. So they're fantastic. They're basically a school for entrepreneurs. And I tell you what, when I first started to work with them, I thought I would just have women at my table because they can kind of choose where they're going to go on the day that I'm there. And I tell you what, I very often have a table full of men because I think guys just feel like, you know, there is that kind of, you know, there's a suit for being very corporate, and then there's kind of like my shorts and t-shirts that I wear on the weekend. And how do I, as a business owner, reflect that kind of cool guy that I am? You know, I'm inspiring, I'm a leader, I'm running this cool business without looking very corporate and boring or just too casual. So there's a really cool little space in between that guys can find that's a smart casual look. And I love this. And in actual fact, every single guy that I work with is looking for this in between. How do I still look smart but not look boring casual? So it's definite need out there.
And I think that resonates too with me being a female because there is, when you're an entrepreneur too, and for me, coming out of that corporate world, I had lots and lots of suits, you know, and lots of dark suits.
Yeah.
You know, and lots of casual for the weekend, but finding that almost that middle ground of finding something that is me, that I feel really comfortable in, that I feel good in, but getting a style that goes with it, so that I know what my unique style is, and I can purchase items that help with that.
Yeah. So one of the things I also do is you need to look at your clothes almost as confidence boosters. So I think, you know, some people, obviously I'm passionate about clothing and I've never even really looked at it in that way. But, you know, if you've got a big meeting coming up or something, you know, you don't just kind of throw something on and just kind of wing it. Like, you know, put something on that's going to make you feel like, yeah, I feel really good right now and I'm ready for, you know, what's ahead of me. Because there's another thing that I also do that really, when I introduce it, people just really loved it. And it's basically choose 3 words that describe how you want to feel in your clothes. So it's kind of like, instead of worrying about what does the client want me to look like, what do my, you know, I know I said before, think about your ideal client, but also think about how do you want to feel, because your version of successful or professional or whatever is very different to someone else's. And if you wear something that you go, oh, you know what, I just feel so powerful, so successful in this, then that's what you're gonna arrive at that meeting or whatever, and you're gonna feel that. You know, and if you feel that, then that's what comes. And one of the professions that I think really, really does this very well is the real estate industry. So, you know, if you're going to get a real estate agent to sell your house, he's got to look really successful, right? So it's almost like take on that, you know, that's what they've taken on. You know, they've got expensive watches, expensive car, you know, they're always dressed really, you know, generalization, but they're always dressed really well. And that's because their thing is giving off that impression that they're successful at what they do, they're good negotiators, they know how to bring in the money, and they can sell your house for you for the best price possible. So I love that kind of way of looking at things. It's like, you know, go all out, like go as far as you need to go with this. Like take it that seriously.
Yes, and I think I love that point. So guys, I would say write that down. So the tip, that little gem that I think you've just dropped there, Lynn, is write down how you want your clothing to make you feel. And once you've got that, then that's your starting point. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, then nothing else matters, because if this makes you feel successful and powerful, then that's what it needs to be. And you'll embody that. You know, whatever you're doing, wherever you are, you will embody that completely. And so, yeah, I mean, also, you know, within reason, of course, if you need to be very professionally dressed and it's about heels and stuff like that, then you've got to do that too. But yeah, I love that. And you know what? Like, go kind of think of really exciting words as well. Like, try not to use kind of comfortable, like use words that go like, yeah, powerful, successful, like really kind of step it up. So when you look at them, you get a bit inspired as well, you know? Yeah.
And that takes it to that, like, again, I'm going to go back to what you said, and I love this, up-leveling, up-level yourself, you know, take yourself up a notch.
Yeah.
What is it that you're aspiring to do or to be, and be it.
Yeah. And you know,
look like it.
Yeah, we talked a bit about the guys as well, but one of the things I see that women do is women tend to not want to invest in themselves. So they tend to have, like, you know, families, and it's like, oh, I don't need to, you know, I'm going to, this one's got to do this, that one's got to do that, and they put themselves last. And the thing is, what's so important is that when women start investing in themselves and feeling really good about themselves, it's like a subconscious message you're sending to yourself. I'm important. I'm worth this. You know, it impacts every single area of their lives. It impacts their families and their relationships and everything. So I think it's so important.
Absolutely. We've got quite a few questions coming through. So I'm going to pin one right now. And it's come from Liz. And g'day, guys. I see that we've got Clark, Anton, Darren. So we've have got quite a few guys on here. So we will, you know, we'll make sure that we cover both male and female in our conversation. So Liz has asked, so what is your opinion on the likes of Steve Jobs, Richard Branson, etc., that dress down? And they think that is the way forward.
Okay, so I've got a number of comments on this. So first of all, when we get to the level of Steve Jobs and Richard Branson, we can create and be individual however we want, okay? There's a couple of things on the Steve Jobs topic, which I've actually been in another group commenting on as well. It's like a women's group. But the sort of thing with Steve Jobs, he basically wore the same outfit for decades. And I actually use a picture of that in my presentations and stuff. And the message that he's sending there is very strong as well. He's saying, you know what, I'm really individual, and I'm sort of walking away from anything corporate or anything too structured. So that was his message, and, you know, that kind of thing. But one of the most important things there is that what he did was he didn't want to waste mental energy on creating outfits every single day and having to think of what to wear. So he just wears the same thing. And so that's essentially what I do in my work, is that you create a formula for how you want to dress. It doesn't have to be as boring as that. Like, we want to be a little bit excited, you know, about what we're wearing. But you can create a formula and stick to it, and you can make it just as easy. So you don't have to waste that mental energy in the morning getting dressed. You can just kind of like put it together and it just works. But there's definitely something in that. And that's why I think creating the formula is so important, because even for someone like me, like I don't want to be like having to go to the shops to buy a new top every time something comes up. I want to have that all ready to go. And I can kind of like move on from that as well. One of the things I also do is for you to actually write down or make a list of the events that you're going to be doing, let's say over the next 6 months. So I'll use myself as an example. I might be doing more of these kind of online interviews. I do Skype sessions with people. I run workshops and that kind of thing. So my wardrobe needs to be prepared for those things that I'm going to be doing, because I can't just be sort of going, I'll just wing it with this top. I've got to be so prepared. I've got to have really great outfits put together for those events. And so I recommend that that you guys do the same. You know, you know what's coming up. Be prepared for it, and be prepared for the big things to happen as well. You know, like, you want to be doing anything that's out of your comfort zone, have an outfit ready to go for that. It's almost like preparing your mind to know that that's going to happen. Yeah.
It's fantastic, because I think one of the things that often happens, you know, you get a big event come up, I've got to speak on stage at something.
Yeah.
And then off you go out to try and find an outfit. And, you know, Murphy's Law, you can never find it. So by being prepared and knowing what your style is, and So when you are out in the shops and you might see, you know, there could be a special on at your favorite store, you can go in and purchase those signature items that are that become staple pieces in your wardrobe that you can pull out when you do have to speak on stage. And yesterday, during our session with Wes, and we were talking about sales. And then after our session, one of the a person from the audience came on, and they were talking about, or asking questions about speaking from stage. And I know that he's here with us today. So I think I want to ask some questions about how does one prepare themselves, particularly if you're a consultant or a coach. There's several different things that we do during the day, right? So absolutely, we do Skype sessions. We would be speaking in this type of forum. We may be speaking on stage at an event. We may be doing, you know, face-to-face meetings.
What sort of working and stuff like that as well?
Workshops, all that sort of thing. What would be your advice for somebody who, like a consultant, has so many different, I suppose, hats to wear in any one day, but specifically for speaking on stage, how can one prepare for that from both a female and a male perspective?
So being able to create outfits to wear on stage.
What sort of things do they need to be mindful of?
Look, I think it depends on how sort of on stage it is. Like, I know, for instance, for myself, like, I don't speak on stage that much, but when I do, I've got sort of like 3 outfits, so that when the opportunity comes up, in my head I go, brilliant, I'll wear that. So it's already prepared. But yeah, I mean, there's different things. I mean, obviously you want to go back to your feeling words. You want to go back to how do I want to feel when I'm on stage, you know? And I know for me, I really invested in those pieces. So I've got a couple of pieces for those events where I really invested in them because I want them to last for a long time. And I also want to feel really amazing and aspirational when I'm on stage as well. So let's say, for instance, aspirational on stage is something that I want, that's one of my words, then I'm going to have to step it up so that when people look at me, they think, like, I want to be like that, or I want to dress like that, or I want her to dress me. So that's you've got to connect it back to your message. Like, what's your actual message that you're trying to get across, and make sure that you give that. Like, for example, I worked with a guy at the Entourage he was a personal trainer, and he said, like, you know, when he's doing talks, he doesn't want to be in a suit, but he also wants to give across this like sporty look, and like, how does he do that? And so he talked about seeing Michelle Bridges on stage, and he said she wears like sporty wear, but not necessarily gym gear. So we were like, revelation, do that. Like, wear maybe something really smart with a pair of like sneakers, not runners, but sneakers, or something that's going to give him that, you know, that was his brand. But it's sort of looking at it like that, like, what's the message that you want to get across? It's not, it's not really about fashion. So it's not about what's on trend. Of course, you want to be current, but it's more about your message, Yeah.
And how does one, so you've got, there's you, so my message, so I'm talking from my own personal perspective, but then there's also my business. How do you, what sort of things can people do to connect the two together?
Yeah, so it's very important that you connect your business message and your look together. So they need to be saying the same thing. And when I've talked about this before, it's like you almost want people to kind of like guess what you do or what industry you're in before you say anything. So it's like creating that feeling beforehand. It's all about the feeling that people get when they meet you. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. And I'm just thinking about, you know, making sure that when you do walk in the room that people, like with what you were saying, if I think about, say, anybody that's in design, so a consultant that might be a web designer or a graphic designer, to me, they should, my perception of somebody who is creative and has a design background, their image, their personal image should reflect that.
Yeah.
So if they came walking in to see me and they were in shorts and a t-shirt and, you know, nothing very eye-catching, my mind instantly think, oh, how creative are they really?
Yeah, exactly. Like I go to a networking breakfast with like a mixture of guys and women, and there's one guy that I just look, every time I look at him, I think he's just the perfect example. Like he's a photographer. So what do you want a photographer to look like? Creative, fun, not following the boring norm. I want him to be a little bit, inspirational. And he's just fantastic. Like he's on trend, wears like a good pair of jeans, a really nice blazer, great pair of shoes. Sometimes he throws a hat on or something, shows he's a bit creative, and you just believe him. When he stands up and he says, this is my name, this is what I do, you go, I believe you. Subconsciously, you're like, I get it. That's what you do. You're in the right industry. And that's what you want people to do. When they hear you speak, it's like they connect. You're connecting it. It goes, yeah, that's what you do. And it's the same for me. Like if I go to a networking event and I say I'm a stylist, I want people to go, of course you're a stylist. You know what I mean? You want that same impact.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like, oh, of course you are. I didn't even need to ask that question. Yeah. So let's go. I want to go back to the stage because I have heard a few and certainly take these on board myself when speaking on the stage. And I think these might be useful for our guests that asked these questions yesterday. So one, I think, is you want to be eye-catching. Right? When you walk on the stage, you've got presence. It's in the way that you look, the way that you stand, the way that you hold yourself.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, it's also you need to be mindful that you don't want your outrageous outfit, if that's your personality, to take away from what you're saying.
Yes.
And I think that's an important thing to remember. You might wear lots of spots and stripes and things normally, but if you were on stage and you're going and the lights are on you, you want to make sure that you don't have anything that's just too out there sparkly, because it will take away from the message that you're trying to get across. So just be mindful of that. And obviously for the ladies, as Lynn was saying before, it really does depend at which level you're speaking at. But if you are going to be on a stage and you are elevated, this might sound a little crazy, but be mindful of the length of your dress or your skirt, and you may actually want to consider wearing some form of trousers.
Yeah.
I've seen many go wrong. With their outfits. So, did you want to add anything to that, Lynn?
Yeah, I think when you are the speaker at an event, you are actually being looked at as the expert, and that's essential that you look like that expert. So you need to be dressed more sort of, like you say, elevated than the rest of the audience. You need to be better dressed. So wherever it is, if it's in an expensive hotel or something, you're really going to have to step it up. You actually want people to know that you must be the speaker when you arrive. Like it's you're the expert. You're the person that everyone's here to listen to. That's what you need to have. Yeah.
Great point. I think you've sort of answered our next question. So we've got a question here from Darren. And he says, I get the point about feeling powerful and successful. However, is there a potential issue of overdressing based on who you are presenting to, like turning up to turning up to a cafe to consult? I feel like you can overdress and it can make your potential client almost feel inferior. Is there a limit or boundaries based on industry? Great question.
Can I ask what industry Darren is in?
So, Darren, do you want to type that into the chat box for us, and we'll
I can see. Oh, yeah, I can see his question here. Yeah.
I think a little bit about Darren. Darren's a consultant that works in the space of helping cafe owners run better businesses. So he's in that space. Yeah.
So I love that. What a great business. So again, it's about when you arrive, particularly if you're working with cafe owners, you want to understand how are they going to feel if you interact. So if you arrive in a suit and a tie, it's probably going to be a little bit intimidating. If you're trying to build that relationship with them, like I'm trustworthy, I'm I'm going to help you, you will need to take it down a little bit. You don't want to almost like over dominate the situation. And I think there's a new message coming, but I think it's that kind of thing. It's like, you've got to gauge where you're at. So when you're speaking, if you're speaking about what you do, then I would take it up. But if you're in a cafe, which is generally a very social environment anyway, and I think that you want to be getting across that the social message, and I would do something smart casual, like a blazer, open shirt, maybe some cotton pants or something like that, but keeping it open. So definitely open shirt, I think, is very important there.
Fantastic, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Now, the other thing that, we've talked a lot about how you should feel. How does one, because I think this is something that people can get very, very right, like you do, or very, very wrong. And that's about colour and cut versus sort of, and also dressing for their body shape. What sort of things can somebody do to understand what is the right colour for them? What should it look like, and how do they determine that?
Look, there's a number of ways. I sort of do. I mean, obviously, I go into quite a lot of detail on colour. It's not something that I can obviously give you your colours now, but it's something that I would encourage people to go home and look in their wardrobe. And if you hold a colour up against your face, look at the impact that it has on your skin tone and your eye colour. So the whole idea with colour is that you want it to look, create a very fresh complexion and for your eyes to really pop. So you might notice that black might be too heavy for you, or when you wear heavy colours, it drains you. So it's kind of looking at that, like actually hold up a whole lot of different colours in succession and have a look at how that looks against your face. I mean, even ask a family member to kind of help you to understand that. And something I also do with the women on my program is to choose like someone who has the same coloring as you, so someone famous or whatever. And I use Pinterest, but sometimes that helps to, when you see it on someone else, and I'm not saying that they definitely wear the right colors either, but when you see colors on someone else, you go, oh, that looks really good on her. She has a similar coloring to me. It's going to look really good on me as well. But yeah, I encourage everyone to wear color, though, and to try color out, because it can totally affect and lift your moods as well. So I think color is one of those things that has an impact on how your complexion, but also an impact on your mood as well and your productivity. Yeah.
And that obviously applies to both male and female. You can do exactly that same, activity to get your color right. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. With guys, if guys are wearing like blazers and stuff like that, it's very, the men's wear is very limited in color. So I always find men's wear a little bit easier because, like a navy suit, crisp white shirt is going to look good on pretty much anyone. So I mean, that's like a great formula. When you see, it could be a white base shirt with a colored check on it, navy suit, it's always going to look good, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Women's a little bit harder.
I saw a wedding party the other day, and they had exactly that. These really smick-looking, dark navy suits.
Yeah.
With white shirts, and gee, they look really nice.
Just crisp.
Yeah, and on trend right now, right?
Yeah. What color shoes did they have on with them?
I think I was from a distance, but I think they might have been like a tan.
Yeah, it's very on trend at the moment. The tan, navy suit, tan shoe for the guys,
Yeah. Okay, I want to ask you, and this is probably a little bit more technical, but belts. We're kind of getting a bit detailed here, but like for the guys, right?
Yeah.
There's a bit of a and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's almost a what do you call it? Unwritten rule about what's the rules about shoes, belts, ties.
This is very much a personal thing. A guy should always be wearing a belt, though. So I think someone's written that. Belt equals yes. A guy should always be wearing a belt, definitely. One thing that I love, and I've seen this a lot around, is the mix match. So not actually matching your belt and your shoe together. So they might both be tan, but they're not necessarily exactly the same shade, which I think is perfect, and I love that. So it doesn't make you look too sort of overly coordinated. And so you asked about a tie as well.
Yeah.
So look, I mean, ties I think are sort of for very much on the way out. It's very rare that you see people wearing ties unless you're a real estate agent or something like that. But a lot of the guys that I work with are trying to move away from ties. And it's just something that, everyone just feels really restricted by. People tend to wear it if they have to and just go, I actually met a guy a couple of weeks ago when I was working with the Entourage, and he loves to wear a tie, and he said it just makes him feel amazing. And he was struggling because he felt overdressed, and people were really saying that. But he's going to try sort of doing the open collar and seeing how he feels, and maybe adding like a bit of a pocket square as well, which is another way to still look very smart, but not constricted by the tie, which is quite it's very formal, the tie.
Let's flip it over now. Let's talk about this from a female perspective. But are there any rules that a female should run with?
Let me think about these rules for a woman.
Rules is the right word, but tips and tricks that you would provide, that you would give us today, that women can go away and maybe make some basic changes to their wardrobe that can really help them to lift it up, to take it to the level.
Yeah, one of the things, the mistakes that I see women make very often is around not accentuating their body shape. So women tend to bypass their waist completely, and so it makes them can make them look actually larger than what they are. So obviously there's lots of different body shape types and that kind of thing, but the formula for discovering what your body shape is in a very quick summarized version is to take a measurement of your shoulders around the widest part, take a measurement of your waist in the smallest part, and take a measurement of your hips on the widest part. Now, the ideal body shape for all women that all women are trying to recreate is the impression that you have an hourglass shape. So whether you have a waist or not, you need to find ways to accentuate that waist. I've done a video on like sort of tips and tricks to do that, and it's some of them are just about doing tucking in your top, which a lot of women don't do. Even just doing a bit of a half tuck really, really helps. If you're worried about showing off a bit of a belly, you can actually just do a little bit of a half tuck or a tuck to the side. If you want to research that, you can just find that on Pinterest. If you just type in like half tuck or whatever, it'll come up with some ideas, and it really does make a big difference. Also helps you to feel a little bit more styled. The other thing is, if you really don't have a waist and you have a body shape where you are literally quite straight down, there are things that you can do, like wearing a pendant style necklace. So what you want to do is draw the eye up and down instead of that way. So the pendant style necklace or anything or a line in a shirt or a jacket that goes up and down will help to do that as well, to create that shape.
To elongate your body.
Yeah, it takes it up and down. Yeah.
Yeah. So anything else to avoid?
Anything to avoid? I think, let me think about that. I think it's about making an effort. It's about trying to actually do something. So, it's about do the lipstick, get your nails done, almost like create a thing that you always do. It's like your self-care. It's part of your brand. So it's the same thing. It's about creating a consistent message. And this is one of the reasons why I think it impacts your sales so much is you want to create that consistent message with your clients and the people that you interact with. So if they consistently see you always at the same level of professionalism, the subconscious message is that you are therefore professional and everything in your business is as systematic and professional and of the same level. So it's like, oh, I see Tracy, she's always well-dressed, therefore she's a good operator, I can trust her, she always has the same level of professionalism. So it's that kind of thing, like, choose your things that you're going to do, choose your formula, and choose your level of professionalism that you're going to be at, and really stick to it. So it's that kind of like, don't go up and down and like someone bumps into you at the shops and they're like, wow, complete contrast. And I know there's some level of that. Of course, you want to be able to be relaxed and sometimes pop out and get a coffee and not be overly dressed, but you want to still have some level of making an effort.
Yeah. Important. Let's talk about accessories.
So
tips on accessories.
Look, I'm a big accessories fan. So I've only got a very small necklace on today, but I've got a ring on, and I always accessorize. But it also comes down to what makes you feel comfortable, because I know when I first started to do this work, I would be like, everyone needs to wear accessories, whatever. But a lot of women just feel really uncomfortable in it. So then it's looking at what are the ways and what are the things that you can do. So if you're a real non-accessories type of person, there is a lot of this kind of, like, you can kind of see my necklace, it's the finer types of jewelry that might suit you better and not kind of get in the way. It's finding little things that will add. It's maybe just getting a really gorgeous quality watch, some very simple earrings, but they're quality pieces. It's kind of finding those little bits that you can add, instead of feeling like some people see necklaces as maybe like something that you're wearing that's very bold and that's what they have to do. It doesn't have to be like that. I mean, I love that. And doesn't it just lift your whole outfit? It just makes such a statement, doesn't it?
I'm such a necklace girl. Yeah. That's my thing.
And I think we were both, like, when we met, both of us were always every day with our necklaces on, because it lifts every outfit, and I feel just adds a little bit of extra. It's, again, you've made an effort. You've put an effort into this outfit. You haven't just thrown it on. It's, you've tucked it in, you've put a necklace on, you've got makeup on, you've stepped it up. It's about, it's an investment in yourself. And it's about saying, you know what, I'm showing up today. This is how I'm showing up today, and this is the level that I'm operating at. Yeah.
And how have you seen, like, the people that you've worked with that have really taken this on board? Give us an example of somebody who maybe has come to you, maybe a little bit like some of the guys that are watching right now, and not quite sure. Maybe they've stepped out of a corporate role and feeling like they don't really have their own style. Give us an example of someone that you worked with like that, the journey that you've taken them on, and what's actually happened. How has it? And if it has translated to an increase in revenue, how?
Yeah, look, I think one person, a couple of guys actually really stand out. I'll talk about one guy in particular, just a fabulous guy. I'm not sure if he came from corporate, but he was kind of dressing, he had a computer consultancy business, so he was going into small businesses and into people's homes. And what he was wearing was kind of like a pair of jeans and sneakers. And he at that point really operating like going to people's homes, and really wanted to step it up and start working with small businesses. So therefore to step up his revenue and increase, his business. And when I worked with him, we basically did a lot of the background work. So we worked out what his colors are. There's a certain set of wow colors that will work. And so we discovered those. We also talked about what are the business activities that he's going to be doing. So I talked about that before. Worked out exactly what we want him to look like and what his aspiration is. So like I pulled together some looks from Pinterest, and when we go to the shops, it's like I have like 2 or 3 outfits that I'll recreate. And I said, like, anyone can do this. Choose the outfits that you want to recreate. And I had that sort of as a vision for him. We went to the shops and we recreated that look. And, honestly, when you see the change in someone, like, he had never seen himself like that. He had never seen himself in that light. And when he came out of the changing room with a shirt on, he was wearing t-shirt and jeans. When he came out of the changing room with a shirt on and a blazer and a pair of like lace-up brown or tan shoes, he was like, oh my God, like it was like a transformation. Like suddenly, he was standing in a different way. He was holding himself in a different way. He almost like had a bigger vision for himself. He was able to see something more. And I think that's the kind of shift that's what makes what I do so exciting, because you see someone literally transform before your eyes and they go, wow, I didn't know that this was possible, and that's what I love. And so then subsequently he was part of my networking group, and it's a breakfast. And anyway, he was so excited, and not someone that's usually very, outwardly confident, whatever. He was so excited that the next breakfast he texted me and he said, I'm coming in like my full outfit. I'm so excited. He walked in and literally every person in the room just went, oh my God, who are you? And he was so proud. Like, he walked in and it was just amazing. It was amazing. And then he subsequently, took his business he felt confident to go into a business now and not just someone's home. He was confident to take it to the next level. And that's what it's about. It's just about confidence for you. Yeah.
And obviously with that comes that level of confidence of being able to charge more, being able to demand more for what you do.
Yeah.
You look the part, you look really professional. So, and therefore people, this, again, there's a fundamental mindset shift that happens, right? Psychologically, people, as you were saying before, they look at you and go, she must be successful. She knows her stuff.
Yeah.
Gosh, she looks great. Every other part of her business must be like that. I want a piece of it.
I want a piece of it, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm prepared to pay for it.
Yeah. And also, one of the things that he said afterwards that I really loved, and people say it now all the time, was the first time someone really said that to me. He said, I didn't just buy some clothes, I invested in myself. And it was like he had never gone out and obviously he bought himself jeans or whatever. He'd never gone out and bought himself something so smart, you know? And so that was like, it really stuck with me. And that's what it's about. It's like, you're actually sending that message to yourself. I'm important. I'm going to do this. I'm investing in you, basically.
Oh, I think that is another little gem that you've just dropped there, which is about when you go shopping, you're not just going shopping to fill the wardrobe or to wear a piece of, so that you've got something to wear. You actually need to look at it so you're investing in yourself. I love
100%.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. You're investing in your business. It's not just you, it's your business and the success of that business as well. It's everything, Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, the other thing is someone else has just popped in here too. It was a little while ago, but she was asking about quality. So fabric quality and, the quality of the clothing that you wear. Is that important? And if so, why?
Is the quality of your clothes important? So the quality of your clothes is important because you are creating a long term. It's like a long term, or invest. So it's like we were talking about. It's an investment. On some level, if I work with someone, so as an example, if I work with someone who's on a very tight budget, what we'll do is look at where we need to invest and where we can actually save money. So there's certain items that you would want to invest in. So like for a guy, for instance, it's going to be the blazer is going to be the investment. And it's kind of like finding what's the formula, where do you need to invest and where can you actually save? So particularly if you're on a budget, I would create one really amazing outfit that's great quality and that you've invested in. And don't worry, don't sacrifice quality by trying to get variety. So if you've got one outfit and maybe you've got two tops that interchange underneath that jacket, you know that it's amazing. And then you can actually, every time you wear it, you know it's good quality and you know that it's amazing. When you've got more money along down the track, and it's not about being on a budget, this is about, we've got lots of things we want to spend our money on, outside of a wardrobe. It's about being smart. So then you add to it and you add the next quality piece. And then you add the next quality piece. You actually build it that way, but you start with one really great outfit that works. And I say this to people that are like, oh, what happens if, I see the same person at a networking event? Who cares? You know the outfit's great. You know that you look good in it. It's a great outfit. Who cares if you're wearing it twice? I don't think it matters. If you look good, you feel good, keep doing it.
I'm glad you just answered that question because that was going to be my next one. And I think women more so than men are guilty of this, of going, I can't wear that same outfit twice. Like I'm going back there again. They will notice.
Yeah.
Do they notice?
They do notice, but that's fine. I don't think it matters. Like I always wear really bright blazers and that kind of thing. And the networking breakfast that I go to, I will try to not wear the same outfit 2 weeks in a row, but very often I'll be, in that outfit in the morning and then doing a talk in the evening in the same outfit. It's different people. But it doesn't have to be complicated. I think you can just keep wearing the same thing as long as it's a great outfit. Yeah.
So we're, we could talk on the style all day.
I know.
Women are talking about clothing and style, it could go for hours. And we are on a limited amount of time. So let's sort of wrap up today. Hi guys, if you've got any questions, again, type them in the chat box or feel free to join us on screen. And you might just be lucky enough that Lynn, I'm throwing her on the spot here, but she might even say to you, hey, change it up, try this color with what you've got on. You just never know. If you're lucky enough to get in the seat, she may just do that for you. But if you've got any questions, type them in the chat box or join us on screen. And we're happy to have you do that. Now, Lynn, so if we were to give all of our viewers today sort of 3 to 5 steps, 3 to 5 takeaways that they can go away this evening and start having a go, start experimenting with some things, what would you suggest they do?
The first thing that I would do is get onto Pinterest. So even the guys, I've got some great Pinterest boards actually. So then if it's possible to share the link to my page.
Into the chat box if you've got it there.
Yeah, let me just find, it's Stylish You 1, I think. Let me just have a look here. Because I've got some great boards on there, and I've got some great boards for guys as well. But what I've also got is I've got I call them style crush boards. So there's some celebrities or fashion bloggers or whatever on there, and I would say that's it. That's the perfect place to start. So find someone who inspires you. It doesn't have to be like, Angelina Jolie or a Hollywood celebrity. It can just be one of these women who are, they work in the fashion industry. They might be fashion bloggers or something. I've got some great guy boards as well, but you want to find someone who can inspire you. So once you find that person, create a board with the looks that you really love. Then start to play around with your wardrobe. Like I caught up with a woman last night who's on my program, and she said, I haven't even made really big changes, but she said the other day, based on the information that we were working on, I decided to throw on this red pair of shoes that I've had for ages, and I just haven't had the guts to wear them. And she said, I had 3 compliments that day, and it's just like, we haven't even done that much work together. So it's just about bringing it into your consciousness. What are the things that you like? What are the things that get you excited? Find that vision on Pinterest and then start to get a bit inspired, because I even do it myself. If I'm feeling a bit uninspired, I'll get onto Pinterest and I'll start to look at pictures and I think, oh, yeah, I can do that. I've got that in my wardrobe. I'll create that. Or otherwise, it's a case of like, if I just bought a really cool necklace, I could create that outfit myself. And so it's about maybe buying a couple of pieces, but get a little bit adventurous and try to step out of your comfort zone, but actually use those people on Pinterest as your inspiration, because they're doing it, and you can tell when you love something.
Absolutely. Okay. So I'm just going to type in here Pinterest, Stylish You, and the number 1.
Let me just have a look. Stylish You 1. Yeah.
And the number 1. I'm just going to pop that into the chat box for everybody. So guys, you will find Lynn's Pinterest boards on Pinterest at Stylish You and the number 1. So go and check them out. And as she's just said, set yourself up a Pinterest board and start going and pinning different outfits that you are, what did you call it? Your celebrity crush.
Yes, celebrity style crush. Yeah.
Celebrity style crush. So start pulling yourself one of those together. Are there any other tips that you'd like to leave the viewers with today?
I'm just having a look. I've got this. I don't know if it's possible to give a handout, but I've got one of these that I can give to everybody. If everybody's interested in that, I can send you a link afterwards.
Yeah, shoot me the link, Lynn, and we'll make sure that everybody gets that. We'll put that on our Consultants on a Mission page. For those of you that are not familiar with that, and if you are a consultant and or a coach, we do have a Facebook page called Consultants on a Mission, and you are more than welcome to join us. We will most definitely post that in there, but I'll also make sure that it's on our Facebook page, and there's a link through to it, Lynn. So thank you very much for allowing us to have it.
It's got basically pretty much everything that we discussed today. One of the things that I'll add to it, and it's almost like, because a lot of some people can sort of go, oh, this is kind of superficial, or that's not really that important. And one of the things I think that's is a different way of looking at it is like commit to kind of like looking at it as honoring yourself every single day when you get dressed. So every day you're like, I'm honoring myself, I'm important, I'm going to make the effort today. And so it's kind of shifting it and looking at it more as something that's going to get you to where you need to go. So it's about getting you in the right mindset, getting you ready for, your day. I know people talk about morning rituals and all this kind of stuff. This needs to be part of your success plan, is dressing really, really well. So I encourage everyone to have a go.
Wonderful. Well, look, thank you very, very much. I think that's, I'm just going to shoot through our questions and make sure we have, in fact, answered them all. If we've got any more that have come through, I think we've got them all. If, guys, last opportunity to ask any more stylish questions, so pop them into the chat box and we'll make sure that we answer them. But for now, I'm going to, if there's nothing else that you've got to add, Lynn, thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. It's been awesome.
We will have you back again.
Thank you.
More about the style, because totally love it. And guys, you'll see us back here again on Inside the Vault next Wednesday. So every Wednesday, 11:30, we have a different speaker every single week. So keep an eye out on our Facebook page. We will be sharing who the next speaker is in the next couple of days. But with that being said, hey, thanks very much, Dan. Thanks for your comments. Thanks very much for joining us. Please tell your friends, let everybody know that this is where you hang out if you are a coach or a consultant who wants to take your business to the next level, and your life for that matter, and also be surrounded by some pretty cool people, I might say. So that being said, have a wonderful day, everybody. I am going to stop the recording right now, and we're going to hang around online. We'll be off air, so to speak, or off recording, but we'll hang around for the next 5 minutes or so and just have a very casual chat, bit like we have been already, but a casual chat to enable you guys to jump on without it being recorded. So thanks, Lynn. I will be back in 2 seconds.
All right.